If you ask any entrepreneur, it kind of always starts with like frustration. It's like, yo, why has every clinic I've ever worked at not looked cool?
Yeah.
Why am I seeing 40 patients a day? Why do I feel like I'm a factory worker and not really a clinician? All these questions I kept asking myself when I was working at various other jobs. I actually almost quit PT after a few years of working in the space. Actually, year 5, I was like, hey, I don't think this is for me.
Welcome to the Prehab Podcast, your source for expert insights, breakthrough technology, and business strategies shaping the future of physical therapy. I'm Dr. Arash, co-founder of Prehab, and today we're joined by Vinny Pham, co-founder of Myo. What started with a yoga mat in his living room in Toronto has grown into 22 clinics across North America. Vinny shares how frustration with the traditional healthcare model, burnout, rushed visits, and outdated systems pushed him to create something different. We dug into why the industry is broken, how Myo is changing the game, and what it really takes to scale from one clinic to a nationwide brand. From entrepreneurship lessons to redefining patient care, this episode is full of insights for clinicians, innovators, and anyone passionate about taking ownership of their health. Today we have Vinny on, Vinny or Vin?
Vinny.
What do most people say?
Honestly, Vinny. They call me Vinny, but my full official government name is Vinh Pham.
Because in my head I say Vinny, but I've heard you refer to yourself as Vin, so I'm like, either way.
Yeah, either way is fine, bro. Okay. Yeah.
V.
Yeah.
Vinny, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, bro.
It's exciting having you on because I remember back when we started in PT school, you were one of the few that were already creating content. I remember Kelly Surratt, Mike Reinald. So it's great to finally have you on the podcast. I know we've been talking for a little bit.
Of course. Well, I'm honored to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are like pioneers in the space as well. I consider you guys my peers in that whole Instagram rehab phase.
Yeah. Awesome to hear. So here's where I want to start with you today. You started Myodetox over a decade ago now. What inspired you to take that leap of faith to beginning that journey on your own?
Yeah, I think, if you ask any entrepreneur or people with like a vision of like essentially like a better world, it kind of always starts with like frustration. It's like, yo, why has every clinic I've ever worked at not looked cool?
Yeah.
Why am I seeing 40 patients a day?
Yeah.
Why do I feel like I'm a factory worker and not really a clinician? All these questions I kept asking myself when I was working at various other jobs. I was like, hey, I actually almost quit PT after a few years of working in the space. Actually, year 5, I was like, hey, I don't think this is for me. And I kind of just decided to quit my job, and I started working out of my living room. This is back in Toronto in Scarborough. And then I literally had a yoga mat, and I was just like, hey, I think I should be treating this way. And then literally within, I would say 2 months, I was slammed. My living room was slammed. Then I migrated down to the condo gym.
I heard that.
Yeah, condo gym that had to navigate security. Yeah. And I literally had a full waiting room in front of my condo gym.
No
2-3 patients waiting. Yeah, it was a hilarious situation, But I was doing my own version of hustling, and then and then I was really successful from there, and then the rest is kind of history, I guess.
It's so crazy because even going to the last CSM, there were more people that left the profession last year, PTs, than actually joined because of all this frustration that people have built up. But I'm curious in terms of when you started from there, at what point did you decide to start scaling it? Because now you guys have 22 practices now. But how did that transition work from you being 0 to 1 to now there are all these clinics across not just Canada, but into the US as well?
Yeah, I mean, the funny part is I never planned it at all.
Yeah.
My love is educating. I love teaching. That's literally my passion. And my goal was actually to become some of my mentors, like Thomas Myers. I wanted to do a whole education system and then basically go around the world and just tour and have one clinic, right? But what ended up happening was I was really successful. And this funny part is the first clinic is still alive today, still alive and kicking. And it was actually above a barbershop. So I had 2 bedrooms. It was 2 bedrooms above a barbershop. And I literally, took over that whole area again in downtown Toronto. And then one of my patients was Scott Mercasio, who's now the CEO of Myo, and he was one of my patients. And I kept telling him my frustration with like running ops, because I'm just not an ops guy.
Yeah.
I'm a clinician first, and I'm very like brand vision forward. And then he was like, "Hey, like I don't really know how to do this stuff. I'm a major in psychology, but like I'll figure it out." I was like, "Cool, let's do it." And then we did 2 clinics, and it turned into 3, and then it turned into 5, then it turned into, the rest is history.
Yeah.
Now a decade later, to your point, we're sitting at 22, and we have, we're trying to double in the next 5 years, trying to go to 40.
Fast.
40.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Now we have we can stamp them out now because we have the recipe.
That's awesome to hear. Why? This is like a potentially $1 trillion question, but why do you think that the system is the way it is, where clinicians are seeing 40 patients a day, they're getting burnt out, the PT clinics don't look like a place you want to be. They're just there because you have to fix your back pain. This is the only solution your physician may have referred you to. But is there like a specific problem that you think is the ultimate cause of some of these issues?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, understandably so, are building businesses to make money. And in the process of them trying to make money, they sometimes have to cut corners or start like, because when you're trying to scale, you kind of have to standardize. And when you standardize, quality has to go down to a certain degree. And sometimes it kind of keeps going. And then, over generations or over like, the years, maybe the original founder who was like very like, no, quality first, is now, retired. And now you have this new young CEO who's like about the bottom line, but is not really a physical therapist or a rehab practitioner. And then now he's just trying to, no, but you can see 4 patients per hour, but actually, no, you can't, because that's not quality care.
Yeah.
And then, the whole insurance system is a whole other conversation that we won't go too deep into, but like think about the idea of insurance in general. Like, it's like people, imagine you're asking an insurance company whose incentive is to save money to pick the health practitioner for you. Yeah. You think they're going to pick the best person or the cheapest person?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the cheapest person is probably someone who is seeing 4 per person per hour.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. And then it also is kind of the consumer's fault to a certain degree that it turned into what it is, because people want to take other people's money to spend on their health, which to me is insane. Right? The incentives don't line up. But nowadays, the awesome part is I feel like, with the new wave of longevity, taking care of yourself, the next generation of people, they all understand that. And a lot of people are paying out of pocket.
I love that solution of like educating yourself, because I've always thought that maybe one day insurances will change, or like the system will change, because the system is not setting people up for success either. But like you look at healthcare dollars spent on prevention versus chronic illness or symptom management, like only 3% of, I think like $5 or $6 trillion last year were spent on healthcare. Only 3% ended up actually being spent on any sort of wellness or prevention. So we're not going to see a change there. And so I think as long as the individual consumer becomes more educated, which nowadays there's probably the opposite issue is maybe when you and I started there, I feel like there wasn't good content. Now there's so much content on whatever it is that you want, to where it's hard not to have confirmation bias with certain things. So I like that solution of finding ways to educate yourself to figure out what the next step is to some extent. And I think that I'm not sure if you're seeing this as well, but patients coming in or even DMs that we're getting, they're like next level thinking versus just like a very basic like, hey, my back hurts, what do I do? Are you seeing any of that trend?
Absolutely. But I'm trying to, my whole mission is how do I educate the world on how to take care of the only true possession they have, which is their body. Yeah, that's literally like my whole purpose of everything I do. Doesn't matter in what form or what company or how it shows up. That's that's what I'm about. So to kind of backtrack 1 second, it's like the reason why the healthcare industry is the way it is because it's about sick care. It's like people make money off people being sick. It's just no one has created good businesses off people being healthy. And I think that like I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to inspire other people to do that. And I really think that as the generation rolls on, if a lot of good companies such as yours push that narrative, we can actually change how things are done. And then but the first step, to your point, is you have to educate the consumer on what good rehab looks like. You have to educate the person on, hey, listen, if you have a knee issue, like this is what you should be looking for in a surgeon, or in, if they're telling you to I don't want to put anyone under the bus, but if they're telling you to only do this or only do that, and it's not the complete picture, not really sure if that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it starts with educating people. And then people have been able to get away with poor quality work for so long is because the consumer doesn't know what's the difference between a good physio and a bad physio. And again, I'm using physio, but I mean rehab, pyro massage, everything.
Right. It's true. We were just talking a little bit offline, but it's like also difficult because some professions are almost incentivized not to be good from a financial standpoint. So if you're just focused on symptom management, for example, and that's all you do, that patient may come back for a couple of years or for the rest of their life potentially. But the good physios that are maybe teaching people how to do things on their own and how to give them the tools are actually not financially incentivized as much upfront. That is but that person may refer other people, and that's kind of the name of the game. Is if you are good at what you do, it's a long-term win for you in the business.
Yes, and it also depends on what your idea of being a physio is. It's kind of like this. It's like if you only know how to fix cars, right, when it's on fire, then it's like, yeah, obviously the faster you do it, the better you are at that. But in your mind, you're like, oh, but I'm losing this client. But the way that I look at it is like, hey, well, learn how to help them, teach them how to drive. Like learn how to like put a bigger engine on their car. Learn how to the skills that like, what do they want to drive use their car for? Learn like if they want to use their car for golf, use their body for golf, use their body for gardening. You know what I mean? There's just so much skills that you can learn as a healthcare practitioner in our space, but people limit themselves to like acute only.
Totally.
And that's why it's like, hey, the reason why people don't want to keep going to you is because you only know clamshells and like, glute bridges.
Right.
Yeah.
Standard just for everyone, just a cookie cutter.
Yeah. And if they can Google it, because the consumer's so smart now.
Yeah.
You're kind of not needed.
Exactly. And it's becoming more and more difficult to go into PT 2 times a week for 6 to 12 weeks is how busy life gets. But I'm curious, in terms of the clientele that comes into Myo, out of the bucket of get out of pain or prevent injuries and wellness, which bucket are most people coming in for?
I would say they definitely come in mainly through the pain bucket first. But then when they understand our like ecosystem and the way that our method and how we go about doing things, they stay basically for the long run.
I see.
Right. The same way you go see your dentist, for years, you usually don't switch up a dentist every 3 months.
Yeah.
Is this kind of like the same idea? It's like we want one of our therapists to be the steward of your movement health MSK for life. And any need that you might have with your body, like, oh no, like we trust, they trust Myo essentially.
Makes sense. And the breakdown that you have in clinics, it's a physio or a PT massage therapist. Is that mainly the two?
No, we have physical therapists, massage therapists, and chiro.
And chiros.
Yeah, chiros.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No MDs or DOs. No MDs, part of them. Okay.
No.
Makes sense.
Not in the current setup, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have visions.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
We'll see what the future has in store. And then in terms of like,
and just on that point, I think it's helpful actually for me to give a little bit of context on how my brain goes.
Yeah.
I actually want your true opinion on this.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing is everyone understands like skin, muscle, bones. So skin is massage therapy, muscle is physical therapy, and then bone is chiropractor. For whatever weird reason, the industry split the human body into like these 3 segments and say you only take care of this, right? Which I still don't understand to this point how it came, because to me, like the perfect practitioner understands all those things plus nerves plus fascia plus biopsychosocial, all of it. So it's my analogy is always like, imagine you have to go get, you have a perfect, nice haircut here.
Thank
it's
you.
like imagine you have to go somewhere for the top of your head, somewhere for your sideburns, and somewhere for your beard. You have to go 3 different guys to get a complete haircut. Like, that's really weird. And even handing it off in the same clinic is kind of weird too.
Yeah.
Right. In my opinion, to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yet we do that in the healthcare industry. It's like, why?
And the crazy part about that is it's not even consistent. Like, there's some hospital networks I've worked at, and the separation between what a PT and OT does, for example, looks different in one hospital versus another one. A lot of it just is honestly political with how the governing body of that organization decided to split things up. But it's definitely, I've always thought to some extent, like, an evidence-based, high-quality PT chiro, like, it shouldn't look a whole lot different from profession to profession. One person might be better at a certain skill, and I think that's where maybe you guys can work at a team. But I don't think it should look a whole lot different.
Exactly. To your point, it's like mixed martial arts is mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you need the baseline of Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling. Those are the main 3. Depending on the distance of where you're at, you use a tool that's adequate. In my point of view, it's like, chiro, physio, massage, all these things, you know what I mean? Like, you put it all in a bucket and you learn everything, right? And then obviously you have the predominant body part or, system that you're better at. But generally, you should be able to have a foundation of, like, you can kind of dabble in all of it.
Yeah.
Right. And at Myo, like, what we do is essentially we teach everyone mixed martial rehab, which is essentially the future-proof method. So at Myo, it's kind of like everyone kind of does everything. Right. So there's no really difference between physio, chiro, massage.
So then how does that typically work? Let's say I come in and I've got some neck pain. How does it get decided on who I see first and how that?
I mean, it's different in Canada versus in US. In Canada, the reason why people would go to see a physio or a chiro would be based on insurance. So it's more like we have those titles because the insurance companies require those titles.
Right.
But in the US, to me, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like who's available. Go see anyone. We all do the same thing.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to your point beforehand, I know a lot of these clinics and private practices are being bought out by PE companies, which is why you see a lot of these like lower quality and all revenue focused systems in place to where people, treatment is almost indicated based on the payment method over like what's best for the patient. And so I think it's great to see you go outside the system in the US. Are you a network at all with insurance?
No,
here?
we do super bills, but that's it.
Same with
the
us.
US, that's it. We pure cash based.
Yeah, I mean, it's great because you guys get to do what you think makes the most sense for the patient. The patient also can kind of help guide what they think is best for them. And like it becomes a collaboration without those restrictions of health insurance, which...
Yeah. Again, it's like, why do you want a third party to dictate your care? Right. And then I just want, this is a really funny story. There's one time I was like talking to one of my friends who's a chiro in New York City, and his patient had I think like sprained their thumb, and then he was telling me how he had to write all this convoluted script surrounding how the thumb is related to the spine in order to get paid to treat this guy's thumb. And obviously he did what he needed to do, right? But it was just like, you have to write all of that, you have to make up all this stuff, like you don't even have time to like study or like get better at your craft or like actually treat the patient. You're dealing with insurance all day long. That's insane.
It's crazy. I remember a clinic I was at, I won't say the name, but we'd have meetings, and the meetings were focused on which code is being reimbursed the most. And so what you'd want to do is change treatment based on what code is being treated the most. And so now the whole plan of care is getting revolved around what code is getting reimbursed the best. So they're really dictating not only what profession is being seen, but also how the treatment looks for the patient. And that's, you can't say that the insurance companies are the experts at these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just don't want to live in a world like that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just being straight up. Like, anything I build care should not be dictated by insurance companies.
Right.
My point of view. Right?
Yeah.
Period. That's it. It should be dictated by the people that spend their whole life studying the human body and deciding what's best with the person who owns that body and then making a decision that makes sense for,
Totally.
for the consumer.
For the consumer. Yeah. And right now it's a lose for the patient clients, a lose for the clinician because they're getting burnt out, and then these insurance companies are making all the money. So, I mean, it's to no surprise that change has to happen. But I'm curious on the clinician side, because I know you work with a ton of providers. You do a lot of education at Myo. What do you feel like is the biggest gap in knowledge that you're seeing nowadays?
I wouldn't say necessarily it's a gap of knowledge. I think it's a gap of self-awareness for a lot of clinicians. I think that, let's say me and you go on a basketball court, right? It's like we're gonna find out really quick who can shoot or who cannot shoot.
That's correct.
Right? Yeah. And then, by the way, I cannot shoot.
Yeah. Did you see the hoop over there? We'll shoot afterwards.
I ain't even touching the ball. I don't want to embarrass myself. Yeah. So, in sports, it's really awesome because you can really tell right away, oh yeah, like that 3-point shot that Steph Curry just drained, that's really hard to do, right? In therapy, or even in entrepreneurship in general, there is a league of people that are just insanely so good at what they do, right? But because it's not out in the open, you can't really see how they practice, or it's like, oh hey, like you're not part of the meetings, you're not part of the process, you think that you can do it too, right? I'm not saying that you can't do it. It's just that the level of like how good you are is not shown out in the public, right? So then someone takes a weekend class, and goes, oh yeah, like I can be the LeBron of therapy, I can do this, right? And they go and also the consumer is not going to tell you like right away if your shot hit or not. Right?
Yeah,
the consumer's just not going to come back.
No.
And in your mind, you might just justify as like, oh yeah,
I fixed him. Yeah, I fixed him. Great. One treatment. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Never came back.
Yeah.
It's because you were not good.
Yeah.
So because a lot of people don't spend that time on holding themselves accountable to their own growth and their own skill set, that's actually the main problem I find in the industry. Versus at Myo, like one of our core principles is feedback is a gift. And we assess you and we give you feedback in a very supporting, loving way, but we tell you, yo, bro, like, listen, that shot wouldn't have hit.
Yeah,
like that's just the reality. And you don't know your anatomy enough. Oh, hey, that's bad exercise prescription programming. And we drill them into these things, and that's why they're able to create good care, right? But like a lot of clinics they don't do that. They don't have a robust system, and they don't like do a lot of like game tape. Like we actually film our clinicians.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So think about it like this: you go any sports team, they watch the game tape. Totally. And they go, hey, listen, hey, you see here, like, why are you standing there? This is wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah.
In our world is like what we do generally is like, hey, we give you feedback live, but then we don't really watch you treat somebody. Right. So now sometimes we'll have sessions where we watch you treat somebody live, and we film it, and hey, you see how you're always saying this is where you lost the patient, right? You're over explaining, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Hey, this is where you got insecure. They ask you how long does it take, and then you're like, it depends. Right? Oh, no one's getting in your Uber, right? And then, how long is it gonna take to get to the prehab HQ? It depends. Right? What do you mean it depends? Don't you drive every day?
Yeah.
Right? So all these little
true.
things that we teach our therapists and we train our therapists is honestly just self-awareness, is giving them like that. And then I'm telling you, like the whole industry, no one self-assesses themselves. Not no one, sorry. A majority of people don't want to do it.
It's the most valuable skill I've learned from one of my mentors. Every single session that we had with every patient, we would reflect on both subjective, objective, and the assessment itself, what went well, what didn't go well, and we would break it down and talk about every single patient. And then what that did is not just help on the spot, but it gave you that muscle memory to just constantly be able to reflect and refine on what's going well, what's not going well, so that we can constantly improve on things. So really the solution seems like the ability to grow is based on the culture that you guys are creating.
Absolutely.
And allowing for each person to get that feedback, so that everyone can continue to grow and learn together. Yeah. That's actually great.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say, I'm telling you, like, I've been doing this for like a decade, like 17 years as a physio, 10 years as just like running the business. And like one of the proudest things I've ever done is like every time I see my team grow.
Yeah.
And then like my whole, externally there's a lot of business stuff that I'm doing, but internally, like I just want to create the ultimate space of growth so that when you either stay with this company in the long term or leave this company, you're gonna leave a better human, and then you're just gonna succeed because we've instilled in you like the skill set to do so.
Totally.
Right.
What do you do for personal growth? Is there anything?
So much.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there something that you feel like has been most helpful? Because it's hard because when maybe you're not having a direct someone that is your supervisor, or there's many different things that you could be doing. You can be busy just being busy and just doing tasks versus taking a step back and realizing I'm doing the right things. I'm in line with my mission, and I'm curious to see what you think.
Yeah, I think there's many things. Like, from a intellectual point of view, I read a lot. So I'm just always reading, consuming content, consuming podcasts such as Prehab Guys.
Yeah.
Drop.
Thank you.
So because I'm just naturally curious about the specific topics, anatomy. I'm just curious about the world. Even in business, I read a lot of books on business, and I think like also I expose myself to a lot of different things that sometimes like I'm not necessarily comfortable. Currently, for example, actually something that I'm working on personally is like I'm not really good with emotions, right? So part of my Asian upbringing has always been like dismiss your feelings and just focus on results, right? And now I'm actually going through this process of like with my therapist that I'm like trying to figure out like how to actually feel, either wins and losses, because like the Asian way is like, no, like it doesn't matter how you feel, like just be successful.
Yeah.
Bring me home that A on the report card.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it took. Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
how do you improve something like that?
I think it's, not to put my therapist's secrets out in the open.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of like, again, self-awareness when it comes to that. Like I didn't even realize that I was like dissociating even from my wins. Yeah. Imagine I'm like 10 years in, 22 clinics in, killing the game, I guess, or doing well success on a commercial / traditional level. And I just opened New York and I'm kind of just like, I was like, cool.
Just expected. All right.
Yeah. All right. So what's next? Yeah. I didn't even take a moment until my therapist was like, yo, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Are you crazy right now?
Yeah.
You just opened a new region. You're doing so good. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And then because of that, I took a moment. I called my business partner, yo, let's go have a glass of wine and talk about like our 10 years and blah, blah, blah. And it actually felt good. And then I went right back to work after, but
totally. Yeah. I mean, I'm exactly the same way. It's like that idea of a hedonic treadmill of like, you have a win and now you want to go for a bigger win and then a bigger win and you're never satisfied. And like, what's the end there? There's always a bigger goal to chase, or, exactly. And it's tough. I could see that. But I do the same thing, reading a lot, podcasts. I think reflecting on a daily basis, weekly basis, like has helped me a lot as well with that. But yeah.
And actually one other thing I do is I ask a lot of feedback. I ask everybody, hey, I got this idea, like, what do you guys think? Right. I take feedback from everybody and anybody. And that allows me to kind of build a more complete world vision, because some people, they only ask, for example, their friends. I'll literally be like trying on shoes at a running shoe store, and I'll be like, hey, bro, I got this idea about this, like, like this insole that's going to do, what do you think about that? Yeah. It could be like a 19-year-old, like, kid who's who's still in school.
No, it's great. I mean, that just gives you more data points to work with, and the more data points you have, the better your decisions are on whatever it is that you're learning about. I like that idea. Yeah. I know that there's also a thought of ask for opinion based on who's closest to your goals over who's closest to you. I think a lot of people may take the wrong people's advice, but do you have like a coach or people that you have been trained by, especially early on in the days where you went from like just you to like building out a team, because that's where it becomes like a identity shift of the just a physio to now an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean, this makes me think of like you know, all the 20-year-old life coaches that are popping up on social, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like that, you know? It's like, if, if you don't look fucked up as an entrepreneur, I probably don't trust you, because I like, you know what I mean? If you look fresh, you come into this meeting and you're not retired and you're looking fresh, I'm like, nah, man, you didn't make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're like a,
Make it.
you know what I mean? Like,
It's
it's
true.
like, it's like, I
Yeah.
don't trust no skinny chef. You feel me? It's like, what? You don't look like you eat at all. Right?
Yeah,
So it's
I
kind of
hear
like
you.
that. Like, you know, my advice, when I take advice from people, is literally like, hey, have you done it before?
Yeah.
Or done a variation of what I want to do? And those are the people I kind of lean on. I lean way heavier on experience than academics.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, you can have all the degrees in the world, but like, have you built a multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar company? Or have you, like, you know, taken your thought process and packaged it and then taught it to, you know, thousands of students around the world? If you haven't done that, I don't really know if I necessarily would want to take advice from you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is actually more a realization. It's like, you know, like, you go to the bank sometimes and like, you have these financial advisors that tell you like, hey, bro, like, if I manage your stock portfolio, like, you're going to be rich. And I'm like, bro, like, if you knew the secrets on how to be rich, why are you still working at Chase Bank? It's like,
so
what?
true. Yeah.
I kind of don't want to give you my money, because I feel like it's going to end up somewhere in these walls. Like, it's like, yeah.
Totally. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the same thing. I've said this, and I don't want to say this about all MBA
Of
programs,
course,
but
of
like,
course.
but like, especially for myself, because I've had many friends go through MBA programs. But a lot of these people that are teaching business, and this is like a formal education, which is even better than like a digital course. Like, digital course anyone creates, and if there's that thought, like, if you can't do, then teach. And I think that there's a lot of that's out there, because people want to you know, fantasize about the idea of teaching about business, and they love that idea, but they don't know how to actually do the thing. And
Exactly.
so that's kind of the problem with a lot of the social media stuff out there. And I'm curious to see your thoughts on just how things are going as a whole. But it's becoming more and more difficult to find who to trust, especially someone that's a 20-year-old looking to learn business, or someone in shoulder pain looking to get out of that issue. And so, you know, people find maybe who has a lot of followers, or who looks the part and has, like, you know, a six pack and like rotator cuffs popping out of their shoulder. But how, and I know you've recently written a book, Sit Up Straight,
Yeah.
which I actually think is very cool, because it's not just about posture. It's much more than that. It's about educating the person on their body and understanding their movement system. But how do you feel like the consumer can learn on their own in such a loud, crowded, busy space?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. It's just, they have to kind of develop like nuance and understanding, kind of like, how do I say this? It's like they kind of have to develop taste to a certain degree to understand kind of like who's bullshitting and who's not. I would say definitely just look at the person who is speaking and their actual track record, right? Because they can't lie about that, right? Them standing in front of a Lambo and being like, trust me, is just not a real thing. You know what I mean? They have to kind of be qualified in a certain way. But yeah, that's kind of like the best advice I can give. You know, it's kind of tough for me to.
It's
'cause
really
there's just so much.
It's always been an issue. Even with, like, you know, as my parents have gone through some health issues, I'm trying to find the right person for them for certain issues. It's very difficult, even in like the actual healthcare space, to find the right person, let alone social media, where there's, you know, thousands of options. So it's tough. And I think that building trust is a very difficult thing to do asynchronously. And if you find ways to do that as a content creator, I think you've found a good recipe. So I feel like what you've done, at least when I see your page, I feel the sense of like authenticity, and like this sense of talking about these things, or doing these things because like Vinny wakes up and this is what he thinks about when he wakes up. Like, I don't know if that's how you feel, but like
absolutely.
when I see you, I'm like, this is like your mission, and I can feel that. But anyways, just wanted to put that out there.
You know, just a few things you're making me think a little bit. I think one thing that I don't do, for example, is I don't gatekeep information. Right? You're literally seeing me as I learn the information, I spread it, because I just like, you know, there's billions of people on this earth. Like I can't treat everybody and I can't help everybody.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, hey, you know, and if you come upon this great piece of information, like, why are you holding it so tight? Right? Because you think it's gonna make you special and make you more busy in your little market. It's just insane to me.
Yeah.
And the other part is that I'm thinking about is, like, to your point, like, I'm just authentic with, like, how much I know and how much I don't know. Right? Recently, I work with a ton of pro athletes, and then one of the guys, we asked him, like, hey, like, why did you decide? You know, there's so many therapy people out there. Why did you decide to work with us? Right? And his answer was actually really interesting. He was like, hey, listen, like, a lot of time, there's many reasons you guys care. You guys are awesome. You guys are great at your work. But one of the things that I really like about you guys is one time I asked you guys something about my body, and you guys didn't give me this whole loop around and then be like, oh, yeah, it's because of this. Right? But really, it's because you guys didn't know. You know what I mean? So many people do that to me, where they think that I just want an answer, and you guys are the first people to be like, I don't know, but I'll let you know, right?
Yeah.
You guys are just so okay with your own ignorance that, like, I trust you guys because you're not lying to me, right? But all these other practitioners are trying to be the man and telling me this, and that, but I can tell, like,
I see that more and more the higher up people get, because they feel like they should know, and they have maybe this imposter syndrome potentially, and they make things up rather than being honest with whatever it is, because they feel like they should. But there's a lot of power in saying I don't know, and going back to the drawing boards, and that's part of the growth mindset, honestly, or else I feel like you're being ignorant to that fact and trying to adapt from wherever you're at.
But my favorite line, and everyone who works closely with me, is like, I'll figure it out, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll figure it out. Right? Like, everyone trusts me because I'm like, hey, listen, I don't know right now, but I'll figure it out. Yeah. And I always figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, or I always get it done.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's great. What would you, and I know we've talked about some content creation, but I'm curious if there's any recommendations that you would have for, you know, any clinician that's trying to start their own channel or, you know, content create in today's loud, busy day, if there's any recommendations that you have.
I think, again, it's not necessarily like use this app or use this technique or use this and that. Like, we can get into like those, I guess, tactics at some point.
Those change,
right?
Though,
those change up kind of like every time. But I think, like, the main thing is, like, you got to have the mindset. It's like if you're ready, if you're trying to jump into content creation, like, you know, of all people, you know, for me, like, when I was in my heyday, when I was posting every day for 5 years straight.
Yeah.
Like 365 every single day. Christmas, New Year's, didn't matter, right? And every post would take me on average 2 to 3 hours every day.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? Because it's like I wish I was prettier and I could just post a selfie, but I'm not. So I have to lean on my intellect, right? Yeah. And then when you're posting intellect, it takes a lot of time, a lot of research. Yeah. You're trying to make sure you're doing it right, that you're filming it. Back then, we didn't have, you know, we were editing it by ourselves on like Instacollage and all these random apps. Yeah. So you have to really be driven. Yeah. And then you're making me think also this scene in 300. You ever watch 300?
I did.
So Leonidas like meets the Arcadians in the middle of the field with his army of 300 Spartans, and the Arcadians are coming with more people, whatever. And the Arcadian general looks up to him and goes like basically like, yo, bro, like, you only brought like these people, like, I thought you would bring more, right? And Leonidas is like, Arcadian, what is your profession? The guy's like, I'm a potter. Arcadian, what's your profession? Oh, I'm a sculptor. Arcadian, what's your profession? Oh, I'm a blacksmith. And then Leonidas is like, Spartans, what's your profession? And they go into this crazy, war cry. And then Leonidas turns to Arcadian and goes, yeah, hey, listen, like, I think I brought more soldiers than you. Right? So the whole idea is like, are you actually ready to go to war? Is this what you're really going to do every single day? Are you really consumed with content creation because you care about it? Or just trying to do it to check off the box? But really, you're a potter. And really, your goal is to make the perfect vase. And really, you should probably go do a vase, bro. You shouldn't be on social media because you're going to get wrecked. Because when it comes to wartime, these guys are doing it all day long, right? I'm doing this all day long. If I turn it on, I'm going to bury you.
Yeah, no,
right?
For sure.
Right?
Yeah,
And you're the same.
No,
like,
yeah,
you guys, yo.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, you. That's why I always am very clear with whatever you do. It's got to be in line with your purpose, and like, you have to really, really want it, because there's no doubt you're going to have obstacles and things are going to get tough. And statistically, you're not going to make it.
Yes.
So you have to really want it in order for you to survive past, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it might be. And yeah, maybe it seems like after 10 years, we're overnight success with some of this stuff, but that's because of all the efforts that go into it.
Absolutely. But the whole point is like, you're actually going to be fine.
Yeah.
Right. And the success is, whatever, we can have a debate on that at some point, but it's like, what does it even mean?
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
That's even better
the whole
question.
point is if you love content creation, and I love educating.
Yeah.
I was posting every day for 5 years, and don't get me wrong, I was tired and some days I didn't want to do it. But overall, my mentality was like, yo, I'm having fun. Right. Was my overall thing. And I think that when I started, I had like, at some point I hit like 8,000 followers, and I was like, yo, I'm that guy.
I'm that guy.
8,000 people follow me.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And it just kept going. And even as it grew, then it was cool, but I never got sucked into the numbers after a certain point.
That's great. That reminds me of one of my mentors was talking about how like it's important to do, people audit their time and meetings and all that, but like it's important to also do like an energy audit, not just with who you're with, but like what you're doing, what gives you energy, what motivates you to push harder, because those are the things that naturally your curiosity might align with, and no one's gonna hopefully beat you in those things. It's the things that you feel forced to do that like that I think are important for you to understand, because as your business grows, there are things that you outsource and whatnot. And at least if the business fails for whatever reason, you've at least done the things that you've enjoyed. And I think that's important to some extent. Like for me, I'm definitely in line with the way that you grew up with, like, don't think about how you feel about things. It's like, do what needs to be done. Don't think about what gives you or takes energy away from you. Just focus on the end goal. And I think that's definitely helpful to some extent, but you have to also be able to enjoy the process along the way. So that's a piece of advice that I know was helpful.
Absolutely. And I totally subscribe to that as well, for sure.
Okay, I got a few questions here. It's meant to be a lightning round, but take your time as much as you want with these questions. But one book, and I know you read a lot, but one book that you think every PT should read outside of, or it could be Sit Up Straight.
Yeah, no. Laws of Human Nature, Robert Greene. Yeah, Robert Greene is one of my favorite authors. Actually, I'm so happy to be able to call him like one of my dear friends too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really tight with Robert.
That's cool.
He's my unk.
No way.
Yeah.
How did you get
Shout
to
out
know
to
Robert?
So my book agent was actually his friend, and then Robert needed a physio, and then they connected me, and I ended up treating him for like close to 2 years. And now my team sees him. Yeah. But
He's written some really, really powerful stuff.
Oh, great books. But Law of Human Nature, because I think that if you have EQ and understand people, and also understand yourself, it's a massive book. All of his books are self-awareness, but that one in particular really helped me out a lot. And then I would say that Laws of Human Nature. Yeah,
I'll have to. Yeah, he's great.
Oh, he's hilarious, bro.
How does he have a writer? Like he writes himself?
Everything solo, bro. He's old school.
Cause like to write that much without ChatGPT is like.
No, he doesn't have kids.
Oh,
he doesn't have kids.
That's
all he does.
Secret. Yeah.
Every day from like 10 to 2. That's all he does.
That's how most people do it. Even people that write scripts and whatnot.
Yeah.
10 to 2, block 10 out 4, time.
Something like that.
You don't force it. Bro. Yeah, you just do it.
Sit down, right.
Clock it. Yeah.
I'd like to take a quick break to introduce today's sponsor, Jane, a clinical management software and EMR that has changed the game for us here at Prehab PT. Switching to your software can feel intimidating, but Jane makes the process easy, providing you with onboarding resources and 10 out of 10 customer support to make the transition as smooth as possible. If you're interested in learning more, book a one-on-one demo at jane.app/switch. And if you decide to make the switch, don't forget to use the code PREHABGUYS at sign up to receive a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. You won't regret it.
All right, here's the next question. What have you changed your mind on recently?
That that not having feelings is a good thing, right? Definitely connecting with myself and understanding emotions is a good thing.
I think that's
and
a
I'll
good
be like,
point.
actually, that's real to me. Like, that's the most recent like realization. Like, I can't just run myself into the ground and just be like stoicism, but only to a certain point. You know?
Yeah.
It's like soft stoicism is kind of like the new energy.
I agree. Soft stoicism.
Yeah, new energy.
Quoted here first.
Quoted right
yeah.
here. Yeah.
Okay. What is the most underrated business lesson that you've learned as a founder?
Underrated business lesson. I mean, I have so many lessons. I would say
maybe we can break it with early versus late, because I feel like it's a whole different skill set.
Yeah, I think early is like just don't overthink it. Right. My best advice is like just do it. Right. Doers will always outperform like smarter thinkers. Right. Yeah. And sometimes you just don't know. Like if you're just standing at the intersection all day long, you're done, man. Yeah. You got to turn right, go for a while and be like, oh, actually this is the wrong direction, and then turn left. Right. And a lot of people, they literally just stand at the intersection for years. I've seen my peers for years still kind of pondering the same thing. Oh, I want to release this course. I want to do this. Yeah. Bro, like I wrote a book. I don't even know how that happened. Like, you know, randomly they're like, oh, like, hey, you want to write a book? I'm like, I guess. I knew nothing about writing a book. Yeah. Right. And I learned all the skills, hit up Robert, hit up everybody. Yo, how do I do this? Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Right. And then over time, like, I think by second book, if I ever write a second one, it's gonna be fire. Right. Because I'll learn from all the mistakes I made on the first one. Right. And I would say later advice in business is just delegate crazy. Right. Just stick to what you're good at and don't, like if you don't enjoy doing it, don't do that job. Find someone else who loves doing it, because again, someone loves pottery and they're going to create the craziest pots and you're just doing it because you're there. It's like, nah, it's not going to work out. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
In terms of delegating, how do you determine, is there a framework of like what you decide to get delegated versus what you decide to keep on your plate?
Yeah. The framework is simple. It's like, what do I like? Yeah. And what am I good at? Yeah. Right. Also, I might like things, but I'm not good at it. But I'm not going to be delusional and be like, oh, I'm still going to run this. It's like, no, this guy's way better at it than me, even though I love this.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Thinking about the business first.
Yeah. And also, this is a funny story. It's like, a lot of times people will ask me, oh, hey, like, do you still go into the clinics a lot? And I do to a certain degree, but more than like the newer clinics. But the older clinics, it's kind of like I'm like the grandpa now. You know, I walk in. And then the clinical director's like, yo, what are you doing here? Like, I got this, Dad. Like, go away. You know, they're just like, oh, like, why are you here? Like, let me do my job. Right. So the funny part about delegating, as your team gets stronger and smarter and better in every way, it's like they actually don't want you there. Right. They literally just want to call you when like, oh my God, Dad, my car broke down in the middle of the highway. Yeah. Right. And they're like, oh, I got you, son.
That's so funny.
Right. That's literally kind of how like the trajectory of like how I feel like my role in Myo is now. It's more like, hey, they call me when like shit goes sideways, right?
Yeah. In terms of the brand with Myo, you're mainly overseeing that side of things. Yeah. Did you guys do a recent rebrand?
Yes, we did a recent rebrand. We dropped the Detox, and we're only known as Myo. And then we kind of just like rebranded it because the original colorway and everything was very like masculine, because they're very driven by like what I liked. My own personal tastes, and then as we grew, it's like, hey, listen, it's not about, you know, what would Vin do, it's like what would Myo do, right?
Yeah. How do you create space for, because this is a tough balance of like getting stuff done versus like having that creative space to like think through some of these branding elements, and it's much more artistic than it is like black and white, you know, performance marketing, for example. How do you create space for that?
I mean, I'm just naturally curious with like architecture, colors. Like, you know, I love clothes, so I'm into like the fashion world. So I'll like listen to something by Virgil Abloh or Pharrell or any of these guys and kind of like be like, oh, like, does this apply to Myo or the world of therapy? Or, you know, I just kind of listen to leaders from across all industries, and kind of like make an idea from that. Does that make sense?
Good. Yeah, totally makes sense. You're bringing in the people that are the best, and even like within the PT framework, like I pulled in so many frameworks I've learned from like successful entrepreneurs that aren't specific to PT, but like you pull it in because these are smart people that have thought through this in a lot of depth.
And I'm telling you, like, again, as you get more advanced in business, it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's just a different product, and you know, that's it.
Yeah.
But this is like all the foundational principles are kind of like all the same.
Makes
Right.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this question? Where do you see, or where do you hope PT would be in 10 years from now?
Yeah, I think, you know, to your point about inspiration, like I'm very inspired by the dental health industry. I think, you know, you go anywhere in any mall or any airport and you're like, hey, toothbrush, toothpaste, you know, dental hygienist, dentist, orthodontics, dental surgery, like any dental issue, you can scale up or scale down. Everyone kind of knows where to go. You know what I mean? I got something stuck in my toothpick, toothbrush, toothpaste. I need just a cleaning dental hygienist. I have a cavity dentist. I need braces, orthodontics. I need, like, I broke my tooth, dental surgery, right? It's just so clear. And that's why that industry is like, generally there's no drama and no people competing against each other in a, like, my way is the best way type thing.
Totally. Yeah.
In our industry, because no one has set the standard and has tried to, like, essentially create all of those pillars, it's just like pure confusion for the consumer and the practitioner. And then everything that I'm doing from a business side is like, I'm really just building that. Myo is my contribution to the dentist world. I'm creating a bunch of dental surgeons that are the top therapists and trainers in the world in this other company. And I'm building essentially a products company on the low end, not low end, sorry, for everybody end.
Are we good with talking a little bit about that
absolutely.
too? So yeah, do you mind explaining a bit more of because this is kind of like what's next on the horizon and like, you know, things that aren't even out yet necessarily today that you're working on today. So what is it that you're focused on next?
Yeah. So I think like one company that I'm like part-time on all these things. So I'm kind of just more like, I have like business partners on each of them and a great team as well. And I think on the dental surgeons company is actually kind of more like a health management company. The same way you go to someone and you ask them to manage your wealth. People come to us. I have like 10 to 15 athletes, CEOs, celebrities that come to me and go, hey, listen, like I want you to manage my health, right? And here's the budget, and I just do everything. And then you trust that we have the best people because all our guys have been doing it at the highest level for XYZ amount of years.
I love that.
And that company is actually with Mike Mencius.
Yeah.
Who's been LeBron's trainer for like 22 years and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then on the products end, I'm essentially doing Invisalign for feet. So it's kind of like it's not exactly Invisalign, but it's kind of like how I explain it. But it's like a progressive insole system that helps you correct your motion, your foot motion.
How far away do you think you are from bringing that to the market?
That's a good question. You know, we're on V6 right now, right? And we're messing a lot of our feet. It's awesome.
Yeah. There's
a lot of progress and a lot of setbacks, but it's fun.
That's how you learn, that's how you grow, and that's how you make sure that once you go to market, the product is,
of course,
as good as it can be.
Yeah. I'll send you a pair, and you tell me if your knees hurt or not.
I'll be the real test because I got this ACL reconstruction, exactly. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But this is actually a random thought. It's like, we're all like, late 30s or whatever it is. I'm in my 40s. It's like we all grew up with like Apple computers and like really good design. And I always thought about this. It's like, imagine we're going to be in our 60s or 70s or 80s and we need like a walker or a cane. It's like, you really think me, Vinny Rehab, is going to be like with a walker with tennis balls at the bottom of it? Hell nah, right? So who's designing these cool walkers and cool canes and cool knee braces and all those things, right, of the future? I always thought about like who's doing the Apple of like geriatric apparel and equipment. And I'm starting with insoles, but like I kind of want to go in that direction in the future.
I love that because
Yeah.
this is exactly the issue we started with at the beginning of like clinics just look old, outdated, like
Yes.
it's a hospital. No one's innovating because the system dictates what is done. And so the more we kind of find solutions outside of the system, the more there's innovation. There's cool things like you don't have to have the walker with the tennis balls at the bottom. Like
Yeah.
it could look cool. Like it could be part of the fashion. It could be like
Yes,
like
absolutely.
kind of like how Whoop has made this strap around my wrist is like a
Yes,
signal of something. Like it doesn't have to be the way it is,
Mm-hmm.
but this is just how things have been for the longest time. So.
Yeah, and it's like it's so funny because I work with these athletes, and then like let's say they injure their lower extremity, and they're like they go to the game and they're through the tunnel and they're decked out top to bottom like the designer, the coolest stuff, and they're on their little knee scooter, you know what I mean? And the scooter is just like not the vibe at all,
Not the
at
vibe.
all. It's like you just ruin your whole Christian Dior suit
Yeah.
with this like scooter.
Yeah. There's got to be something better.
Yeah, and I always looked at them like, man, like if I had something, I would like design it right now,
Yeah.
But that's kind of like my vision again. It's like I just see things that are like, why?
It
I
all
go
starts
from
with
there.
a problem, and this is also where because I just did a talk at USC talking about entrepreneurship, and only 3% of physical therapists in the US are self-employed, which is very low compared to even all other healthcare, like 10 to 15% physicians. Chiro is like 65%, 70%. Dentists is up there as well. But physical therapy is, if not the lowest, it's one of the lowest. And so you don't see much innovation within this field as a whole, because a lot of it is just based on, big hospital systems or, private practices, a lot of them which are bought out by PE companies, which it's just a numbers game at that point.
Yeah, and I think like for any entrepreneur or people out there that want to create kind of something new, right? Like one of the things that my brand manager at Myo used to tell me all the time. His name is Mike Percasio. Is like, hey, whenever you're creating a product, is like you have to really look at it. Is like, are you doing something? Are you creating something better? Or are you creating something new? Because it's completely different. If you're doing better, you're kind of within the system. You work within the system. You create something better. If you're doing something different, it's like you don't even have to worry about the competition because there is no competition, right? You're building something new. And essentially, to your point, outside of the system, right? And even as I was building Myo and all these other things, is like, yeah, I'll kind of watch what's available, but in my mind, what I'm building is like it doesn't exist yet at all, period. And because I think like that, I don't get pulled into the politics or like the history of all the baggage of like inefficiencies of the old system, right? To create a new business.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it just reminds me of Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1, where like you're basically taking things from nothing to something.
Yes.
That's like your vision, and then scaling it and all that. Like, it seems like is not as much of your focus as much as it's just like getting the right thing, getting a really good product out there, testing and iterating off of it. And that's more of what we need as a healthcare as a whole. But okay, what about any final recommendations for any clinician that's looking to start their own brick and mortar clinic? I think there's a lot that are thinking of going that route, and for me, I think people have to think through the upside, the downside of starting a business, and people always see this shiny object of like, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, especially nowadays, but I want to see if there are thoughts that you have in terms of what they should be thinking through before making that jump, and if you do have recommendations for someone that is looking to make that jump.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think for example, if I tell you, hey, don't do it, right? Right now it's like, listen to me, don't do this. Don't open a new clinic. And then hear my voice and then self-assess and be like, what do you feel? Right? Do you feel that like when I said that, do you feel like, no, actually like I want to do this. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to this and that. Or do you go into this whole like, oh, like, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Oh, like, oh, rent this, rent that. Oh, like, you know what I mean? If you start like fading a little bit, bro, you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you're not going to do well. But if you kind of go like, no, Vin, like, I thought this through. I really want to do this. This is my vision. This is my dream. This is XYZ. Man, go and do it. I personally think everyone can do it, to be quite honest with you. Right? But the majority of people just don't understand the price that it takes, like how expensive it is on your life, right? The effort that is required to bring something from 0 to 1.
Yeah,
it's intense. You have to be willing to sacrifice a lot.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Totally. And also people think that it's going to create all this autonomy to treat however you want, but the reality is a lot of time is just spent on admin stuff, on marketing stuff. But I love how you started that answer, because Patrick Bet-David wrote a recent book that I really liked, where it's like, there's the logical side and emotional side, and you have to have both of those set in order to really reach what you want to reach. And a lot of successful people have a bit of that chip on their shoulder to really want to prove to themselves largely, but like they can do this thing. And otherwise, if you're just using the logical side, at some point you will not be able to push it. And you got to get a little deeper.
Yeah.
With that.
And I'm telling you, don't do it for money, because you're not going to find financial freedom from building just like a clinic.
Yeah.
Right. It's not the way to go about it, to be honest with you. There's just so many more lucrative ways. If you're motivated by money, which is fine. There's just so many other ways to make money in the industry than to build your own clinic. To build your own clinic is like, you're looking at a payback period of like 10 to 15 years later.
That's a great way of putting it. And then not only that, let's say it is successful, there's not much equity in the business itself. A service-based business doesn't typically sell for that much, if that is the goal.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. You can sell. Honestly, you can make a lot of money, like building a business and selling it. But the odds of that is like essentially like, hey, like who's the next Rihanna? You know what I mean? Who's the next like Chris Brown or whatever? It's really that hard to make it, to become like something that scales and sells to a PE company for like, hundreds of millions or whatever.
Totally.
It's extremely hard.
Yeah.
So, the average is probably going to be like, hey, you're going to do well, and you're probably going to be making like, making a number up, but like 200 to 300 grand passively, but not really, because you're going to have turnover.
Totally.
You're going to be working every day.
Yeah.
It's just, you can go make that working at a hospital, you know what I mean? And have high tenure.
Yeah.
So.
And not have the stress of coming home.
Yeah.
And working nonstop.
Yeah. And then and you might not end up with any exit situation.
Totally.
And then also like the world, another COVID could hit, and just so many different things can hit, and you're on the hook for that rent every single day. Yeah. And no one cares.
Yeah.
Right.
That's on you.
It's on you.
Yeah.
So again, if I tell you all this stuff and you're like, I don't know, don't do it. But if you're like, bro, I got this.
You have to really want it.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Yeah.
If you're it's like it's almost like having a kid. Like, unless you really want to have the kid, don't have it. Like, you got to know you want it.
Yeah. If you want the kid only for the Instagram picture, it's like, it's not going to work out, bro. And I actually know so many people like that too, sadly.
Really?
It's so sad. Yeah, man. Just people do things and they don't think it through. Yeah.
Interesting. That's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, it's a whole different discussion. It's like they do things because it's like, they want the fame, or they think like, hey, I'm a clinic owner, so I can go to these conversations and be like, I'm a clinic owner.
Or to put like founder on their Instagram handle or LinkedIn bio. Like, it's got to be more than that.
Yeah.
No, totally agree. So where can people get more information on maybe you and what you're building right now?
To be honest with you, like, I'm not really trying to promote anything. I'm really just so focused on the work.
Yeah.
And I think I currently obviously at the beginning of my career, I spent a lot of time marketing and being out there. But I feel like I've generated enough energy to kind of be able to just focus on the work and let the work speak for itself. And I'm very lucky to be able to partner with like a lot of good brands and companies that have like massive marketing outlets that I can distribute through. So I definitely don't need to go that route anymore. You'll hear about me.
Yeah.
It's really kind of how I look at it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Cool. Well, thank you for hopping on. This is a great conversation. Honestly, I didn't even go through the structure that I really had in place because the conversation flowed so well. But
for sure, man.
Yeah, thank you for your wisdom.
We got to do part 2 at some point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool.